Hello, unlimited friends. It's Zehra back again with another question about applying the law of attraction in practical ways to our lives. The question today has been submitted by Patricia, and her question is, I can't seem to find a good feeling thought when I spend money. All our bills have gone up, and I find myself constantly worried about our budget. And of course, this negative feeling brings even higher bills and expenses that I can't afford. What can I do? Patricia, thank you for your question. You are not alone. A lot of people are feeling exactly the same way as you are feeling because everybody's talking about inflation. There's talk about inflation and prices going up all around us. And every day we are reminded about it because soon as you have a bill to pay or you go into a grocery store, you can see that there's an increase. Patricia and everyone else who's watching, it's not too many years ago that I was myself in the exact same place that you find yourself today. I did not have enough income and I had a lot of debt and there were bills to be paid, which as soon as I paid a bill, I started worrying about the next bill. I really know how you feel, Patricia, because I truly have been there. And then one day I was listening to Abraham and something they said stuck with me. What Abraham said was, why start worrying today about a bill that is not due for the next 20 or 30 days? Because if you start worrying about that bill today, then you are preventing the universe from bringing you the solution that you need, the money that you need in order to make good on that commitment. There's no point in starting to worry today. If you are going to worry about it on the day that that payment is due. And today, stop looking at that payment and put your attention onto something else. Patricia, I know that this is not easy to do because it was not easy for me to do. I was not only scared, but I had a history of worrying about money. But I believed Abraham. I believed Abraham when they said, if you don't worry today, the universe will have the opportunity to find a way to help you with this situation. Give the universe the 20 or 30 days that are in between before the bill comes up, and then see how the universe will come to your assistance. And Patricia, I have to tell you, I don't know how it happened, but I started being able to keep on top of my commitments by doing this. When the thought about a bill came into my mind, I followed Abraham's advice and I looked away from it. I said, I'm not going to think about this. I'm going to give this over to the universe. I cannot know what will happen between today and the day that this payment is actually due, because many things can happen. I don't have that foreknowledge. The universe will find a way. And believe me, Patricia, that the first thing that happened was that I started staying on top of my commitments. And then alongside that, I did a couple of other things because it wasn't just the one thing that helped things to change for me. It was a number of things combined together. So this is the first thing I did. I forced myself to look at something different. Start thinking about my to-do list, start thinking about my children. Just pick something else other than money and think about it. Some of the practical things that I did, because see, here's the thing. we have a mismatch between what is coming in and what is going out. And that mismatch creates this pulling apart feeling that we get. So what I did was, one of the things that I did was that I moved all my payment dates. I called all my billing companies and I asked them to move their billing dates for me to the end of the month, to the beginning of the next month. Because I didn't want to have to think about any bills in between, because that was the advice that Abraham was giving me, was don't think about bills to pay for 20 or 30 days. So because there were payments during the month, I actually called those companies and I asked them to move their payments so that everything was, I had time to breathe. And in the interim, I just had to make whatever the prorated payment was, and those prorated payments were small. The other thing that I did that really, really helped me was that I stopped using the word money. I started using the word abundance and prosperity. I realized that the word money had a lot of negative beliefs linked to it, and every time I used the word money, I was activating those negative beliefs. So I stopped using the word money. The third thing that I did is, in accordance with Abraham's advice, I took my smallest bill towards a credit card and I started paying a little bit extra. And I stopped. So what I was doing until that time was, in an effort to bring my debt down, I was paying a little bit more towards every credit card, every debt that I had, every line of credit that I had, I was trying to pay a little bit extra towards it. I stopped doing that and I took all the resources that I could muster, even if it was just a couple of dollars, and I put all of that towards just one debt, the smallest one. Because the feeling of clearing out one account completely is a feeling that puts you in control. And it did not take very long before I started making headway on that one item. The next thing that I did, I forgot how many I counted so far, but the next thing I did was that I decided that I was going to do whatever I needed to do in order to make sure that I put a stop to the bleeding. And by the bleeding, I mean spending more than what was coming in. I said, it doesn't matter what I need to cut out, but I am going to make these two match. So there wasn't much discretion I had because all the bills were fixed. They were utilities, they were mortgage payments, they were things that I couldn't do anything about. The only bill that I really could do something about was the grocery bill. It wasn't even gas to run the car because I needed to run the car in order to earn a living. So the only bill that I had control over was my grocery bill. And what I started doing was I went away from credit cards and debit cards and I started using cash. I put whatever I had available, I put it in an envelope and I gave myself a weekly budget. And then I stayed within that budget. Because when I went to the grocery store, I divided my shopping cart. I did my shopping weekly and I divided my shopping cart into two. The absolutely must have and it would be nice to have sections. I pre-paved going shopping to the grocery store and I asked the universe to help me find everything that I needed on sale. And that became a really fun game for me to do. I would make a list of things I wanted and I would ask the universe to put them all on sale. And I would find a lot of the things, not everything, but I would find a lot of things on my list actually on sale, which was amazing. Made me feel happy, made me feel powerful, and made me feel that I could keep my commitment. So when I got to the cash register, I did the must-have things first. And if I didn't have any money after that, I stopped. I made sure that I did not spend any more. And if I saved money that week, I would put it towards the following week. But I would make sure that I didn't go outside my budget. And Patricia and everyone else, full disclosure, there were weeks when all I could afford to bring home was bread and soup. And that's all there was. And I just made a commitment that I was going to stick to that budget. And I did. And you see, here's the thing that happened as a result of it. Many things happened. First of all, the bleeding stopped. You see, if you have a cut and it's bleeding, healing cannot start unless you stop the bleeding first, right? So I stopped the bleeding and then the healing started. I felt good about myself, which elevated my self-worth because I was keeping to my promises. And just that feeling of saying, no, I'm not giving in, was an empowering feeling. And it helped me. Staying within that budget helped me. And my whole thinking was, it doesn't matter if things are going up. I'm going to do two things. First of all, I am going to stay within whatever the budget is, and I am going to cut out whatever I can cut out. The second thing is, I have to increase my income. And so, universe, can you help me to increase my income? Please help me to increase my income. Because I wasn't looking for expenses to go down forever. My commitment was, I am going to stay within my budget and I'm going to increase my income. And I said to the universe, show me the path to freedom. I am willing to do whatever I need to do in order to have that freedom, that feeling of empowerment. And Patricia, I believed it. I believed that the universe was going to show me a way. Many amazing things happened. One of the things that happened was that I found money in a box. I was just doing some filing and I found money in a box. Money that I didn't know that I had. I don't know where it appeared from. Money started appearing in all sorts of places. I took out a coat I hadn't worn for a while and pulled out money from it. Looking for a pen that dropped in my car, went under the car seat, came out with money. Money started appearing in all sorts of places, and it felt as if it was money that I might have misplaced or lost. I don't remember. And then the most amazing thing that happened was that I found money on the ground. It was a couple of $100. I think it was $200. And I looked at it and my first thought was, oh, I feel sorry for the person who's dropped this money. My second thought was, the universe is helping me. My third thought was, should I actually pick it up? And my fourth thought was, Zehra, if you don't pick it up, someone else will. And you have arrived upon it because the universe wants you to have it. And I picked it up. Can you imagine? That $200 was life-changing for me at that time. So in that process, I had to say no to a lot of things. I had to say no to a lot of things my children wanted. I had to say no to a lot of things that I wanted. I had to put off doing things. But I stood firm on my commitment to stop the bleeding. And I stood firm on my commitment to trust the universe. And as I trusted the universe, things started happening. One of the things that happened was that I started the YouTube channel and I created an extra source of income for myself, doing something that I enjoyed doing. And just opportunities started showing up. It all starts with actually trusting the fact that the law of attraction works and that the universe is here to help us. So Patricia, Don't worry about things going up. It's not that things should not go up. Things have always gone up. If you look at the history of inflation, in 1964, the minimum wage in the United States and Canada was $1. Minimum wage has now surpassed $13. I don't know exactly how much it is, but it's slated to go to $15 here in Canada. So, and it's still not enough. It's still not enough. So you see, things will always go up. That's not a criteria for prosperity. The criteria for prosperity is income. When my children tell me, oh, I want this and it's too expensive, I always tell them, gotta make more money. When my children come to me and ask me, Mama, can you help us with this thing? And I say, all right, Mama has to make more money then. So I'm going to focus on making more money. And I don't care if you have a job, because I did have a job. It doesn't matter if you have a job. You can get a raise. I got raises, and they were a breath of fresh air. So Patricia, stop the bleeding and trust that the universe will help you. And then the universe will help you. You have to believe it. And you have to believe that nothing can go wrong. So the last thing that I did was that I followed, again, this was Abraham's advice. One day I was listening to Abraham, and Abraham said that if you accept the worst possible outcome that can happen, you free yourself by telling yourself, even if the worst possible outcome happens, I'll still be fine. I'll still be fine. And so that's what I told myself. I said, if the worst possible thing happens, if I lose my house, if I have to sell my house and clear all my debts, I'll actually be better off. I told myself, if I can just clear all my debts, and if that means selling the house, I will do it. Because once I don't have that stress anymore, now that I understand law of attraction, I will be in a position to create so much more. So much more. And so when I had that thought, the fear of losing the house left me. I told myself, I'm going to see how it goes, but I will not let it go too far. Perhaps selling the house is absolutely the right thing to do. So sometimes when you accept those things that seem so hard to do, and you just accept that even if you do them, you will still be fine. And I've done that so many times in my life, that you will still be fine. Then you let go the stress of things going wrong. And when you let go the stress of things going wrong, the universe can actually step in and help you. So, oh my God, on the subject of money, money has been such a big part of my law of attraction journey. I can teach you so much about money and the law of attraction. And I'm going to recommend, I will post some, but there are so many videos about money on my YouTube channel. And I teach about money all the time in all my programs, because it is really an important part of being able to enjoy our life. So here's what I'm going to say. Watch the other videos that are pinned under here about the subject of money, because all of it will help you. One of the other things that I did, Patricia, is that I listened to Abraham's rampages on the subject of money, and they helped to elevate my vibration, because the way Abraham did them was they did it from a focus wheel. So it started as a focus wheel that shifted your vibration and then took you up the emotional scale. And I found those were absolutely amazing. I have done my own rampages of appreciation about money in the book, How to Pray So That God Listens. I do have one of my favorite, absolute favorite, Abraham Hicks rampages also in a video on my channel, and I will post it for you. And inside the Abraham Hicks resource group on Facebook, which is my group, I have posted a lot of Abraham programs and material and rampages. So you can do that. You can also look for a lot of rampages right on YouTube. There are so many of them out there. They will really help you to shift your vibration about money. And I keep saying last thing, but there's one more last thing that I want to share with you. I became an avid fan of the process of pre-paving. And pre-paving is a huge part of the workbook, Unlimited 40-Day Law of Attraction Workout to accelerate manifestation. You can grab that workbook on Amazon, and it is a structured workout which I think will help you to improve your vibration around money. And I have a Facebook support group that helps people who are doing the workout, where there are a lot more resources about money inside that group. So I hope that this video really helps you to shift your vibration about money. And lastly, what I want to say to everyone who is here is I love answering questions from you. I want to give you what you are asking for. So if you have a question about the application of law of attraction to your life, by all means, you can post it in the comments and I will pick it up, or you can send me a message through my website, ZMAHOON.com. You can send me an email through there with your question, or you can connect with me on Facebook in my free Facebook group called Unlimited Life, and you can send me messages through Facebook. All right, folks, have a super fantastic rest of the day, and I look forward to more questions from you. Remember to subscribe before you leave, because I would love for you to come back for my next video. Bye for now.